refreshed. So moving forward, now it's time for panel discussion number 2. The topic is going to be unlocking value beyond cost savings, the evolving role of procurement in strategic growth. The moderator for this session will be Mr. Arun Gaur, Account Director, SAP, FSM, SAP Panelist. Now it's time to introduce our panelists for this session. It will be starting with Mr. Raj Mishra, Associate Vice President and Head Strategic Sourcing and Supply Chain, Spark Minda, followed by Mr. Anil Chutani, Procurement Head, Blusmart, followed by Mr. Pran Raj, Vice President Supply Chain, Devyani International Limited, followed by Mr. Shivendra Ojha, Director Strategic Sourcing and Procurement, Cargill. Next will be Mr. Arvind Garg, Associate Vice President Sourcing, JBM Group. Last but not least, Mr. Sarvadeep Chauhan, Vice President Strategic Sourcing, Okaya Power Private Limited. With this, everyone, let's welcome our moderator and the entire panel on the dais. The topic, again, I'm repeating, it's unlocking value beyond cost savings, the evolving role of procurement in strategic growth. Can we have the panelist and a moderator on the dais, please? Everyone, can we have some energy back into the room? Let's welcome the entire panel that is present on the dais with a huge round of applause, everyone. Everyone, please. Get ready for another power-packed, insightful and knowledgeable session. With this, over to you.
Good morning, everyone. I was expecting this would be noon. We'll be running late, but great that we are on time. So I welcome all ladies, gentlemen to the panel, Unlocking Value Beyond Cost Savings, the evolving role of procurement in strategic growth. Traditionally, procurement has been viewed through a very narrow lens, that is primarily to do the cost reduction and operational efficiency, again to bring the cost reduction. However, in today's VUCA world, things have changed. Procurement is evolving into a strategic powerhouse, driving innovation, resilience, sustainability, and long-term growth. Today, we will explore this topic with our procurement leaders who have a lot of experience. They are the key force for the building block of a strong partner ecosystem, supplier ecosystem, shaping business priorities. They are the key decision makers, delivering value not just to the bottom line, but from a very strategic angle to the whole sustainable growth. We are joined by a panel of experts who bring rich experience, real-world business scenarios, the challenges they face day in, day out to meet the requirement to shape up the business priorities. With this, I'll start with Mr. Raj in my first question. Raj is AVP Sourcing and Supply Chain at Sparks Minda. So my first question is, how has procurement evolved from cost-saving function to a key driver for strategic growth?
Okay, thanks Arun. So I would like to start that correlate how this purchasing function has evolved from purchasing to strategic sourcing function. Initially, if you go, the era was that the traditional way. When we want to buy some product, we generally raise a request to the purchaser. Purchaser will find out one vendor, and one vendor will provide that product or that commodity, and then you will pay this. That was the initial era when it was a purchasing function. It was not a purchasing function, it was a purchasing department. Then it came like, then the question arises that if we are raising purchase requisition for one vendor, how we are going to decide that is a competitive or not. Then it got updated to the 3-bid system. That at least for any product, we should have a 2 or 3 vendors. We'll compare only the cost. We'll compare the cost, and the person who is going the lowest one, the L1, will be given the chance to do the business. That came, and then it arises like strategic sourcing. Like if it is not only the purchase to pay cycle, then what value addition the supplier or vendor is giving to us. Then it came the era that if we want to a product, we'll raise a request will try to find out how many supplier base is available in the market. Then they will bid for it, will raise the request for the submission of the proposal. They will submit. There will be a pool of 10 vendors. The 10 vendor will be shortlisted to 5 vendors, and then 5 vendor will be participating in the RFQ process. And once the RFQ comes in, we'll compare the cost, quality, and what is the reputation that particular supplier is having, what innovation he can do, what is his financial stability. That team sitting in the sourcing function, they will do the evaluation and then give chance to 2 or 3% who will be participating in the RFQ. And once the RFQ is raised to them, then they will, the negotiation will happen and we'll buy the product. We'll do the contracting, which was earlier missing. We'll do the contracting. That contract term has been in agreement with both the parties, and the purchase order is released. Once the purchase order is released, the product comes in, and then there is one team who monitor the compliances, what compliance is happening. This is how the evaluation happen, from the purchasing to the strategic sourcing function. So if we talk about in today's era, if we talk about currently, since morning we are talking about AI, we are talking about every digitization in the sourcing function, and that's a huge thing. Even after this era, we find that there's a huge lot of work has increased for the particular function. Now, once the AI comes in or any digitization comes in, the workload get reduced, but the value addition is increasing. So this is how I think that complete sourcing function has evaluated and giving the value to the business. It's not about the doing the purchase to pay cycle. That is how my view is.
Thanks, Raj. Great thoughts. Right from single vendor to L1 selection and then changing it to the strategic procurement, things have evolved, absolutely. Continuing the same thought, if I may ask our Vice President Supply Chain, Devyani International, Mr. Pran, what are the most impactful ways procurement can contribute to this value creation, what just Raj mentioned, towards the strategic aspect of it? So not just the cost reduction, what are the impactful ways procurement can contribute?
So thank you for the question. And as we say, and I think it has been covered in the first question, so purchase function or purchase department or procurement has always been associated with only one KPI, which was cost reduction. And why it was so, I think just to take you back, I think 20, 25 or 30 years back, when probably this function has got evolved, it was started from the, I would say, a team of finance people or the commercial people who has been part of this purchase process, wherein they try to only justify all the kind of purchase on commercial level. So as being mentioned, so we invite RFQ, we try to evaluate 3 suppliers, largely on the cost. Whosoever is the L1, probably you want to prefer to go with that. Slowly, quality part and other parts and process came into. So apart from cost reduction, so I think cost reduction remains the key KPI for all the supply chain and procurement function. But aside cost reduction, I think what today companies, maybe again on the buyer side and from the customer side, what we are looking for is in the addition of value. And value can be in the terms of quality, in terms of process, in terms of experience for customer, in terms of time also. So whatever time which probably customer is investing in your product, probably also makes a huge impact in decision which customer is making. So as I represent Devyani International, which is into QSR domain, and we represent Pizza Hut and KFC. So for taking the example from the food business, so once I think whatever product you I think and offer to customer is willing to wait for 1 hour also and will be looking for a 30 minutes pizza delivery. That depends what is your offering is. So like Domino's has done excel and probably has sold or probably has proven the concept of 30-minute delivery with whatever offering they are making. But yes, the same set of customer is willing to wait for 1 hour in a fine dining restaurant, because the other than his palate, what he's looking for, other than the taste which he's looking for, if that is being promised to him in the fine dining restaurant or a 5-star hotel where he's wait for 1 hour, but he pays a higher price, but he gets the higher quality and the taste which he's looking for. So it is a balance of, I think, value which comes from the time, experience, product, as well as the cost, which probably I think we should look into today's procurement function apart from the cost side?
Great. A very good thought that probably from the cost, the shift is towards the value generated by the procurement, be it through the supplier selection or the kind of product that you are selecting. Very nice comparison between 30 minutes pizza delivery and a fine dining restaurant. Now, this shift would require a collaboration shift also. And that is where the challenge becomes bigger because there is a human element involved to this. Everyone acts differently. This is not as if you are doing the maths. So if I may reach out to Director Strategic Procurement from Cargill, Mr. Shivendra. From the collaboration angle, I think the perspective becomes important how you align more closely towards the overall business objectives and the strategy, because that's not something probably a procurement function on KPI, KRA front is driving. But certainly that's the one influencing thing which drives from the procurement. So if I may have your perspective on how can procurement teams align more closely with overall business objective and strategy?
Great question, and the alignment with the business is very crucial. I would answer this in terms of 3 areas wherein, based on my experience, I find that procurement be more closer to the business in terms of their objectives and priorities, and couple of enablers. So the first one is understand the business strategy in the details. What is the business strategy, short term, long term? Do they want to focus on the cost leadership? Do they want to grow? Do they want to bring the innovation, or sustainability is the focus? It's very essential for the procurement department, for the procurement people to understand in detail about the strategies. Is it about growing with the existing customer, or the organization wants to acquire new customers? It's about growing your manufacturing footprint, or you want to build the third-party manufacturing to grow in this. And it's not only about understanding the business strategies. I think influence early from the procurement perspective to bring your elements in the business strategy, that would be nothing like that. The second area that I would say is, once you understand the business strategies, connect your procurement strategies to the business strategies and the KPIs. I have seen in my experience many times the business strategy is about, we would like to reduce our manufacturing footprint. Now, would you as a procurement would like to go to the market for the contingent labor supplier? No. I think you need to maybe focus more about finding the new partners for the contract manufacturing. If it is about bringing the innovation, maybe you need to work proactively and focus on the categories wherein you go to the partners who are capable to work together with your organization and bring some innovative product, innovative recipes, or maybe the technologies. And here, this includes aligning the procurement KPIs to the business goals. It has to be very clear. If cost leadership is the important, you should have a very clear alignment and the KPI which is spoken commonly between you, business, and the finance. It should not be a different cost reduction that you feel. It's not about the different KPIs you as a procurement tracking, but for the business, it's the other areas which are important. So aligning, leveraging the data analytics is very important, and the technologies. The third area I would say is that cross-functional collaboration. We are talking about more than contribution than the cost, and these are the areas wherein you have the innovation, you have the sustainability, you have more complex problems. And this is where procurement needs to have the partnership with the finance, with the R&D, with the operations, with the technology people, maybe with the smart manufacturing people, to make sure that you are together leveraging the supplier and cross-functional to drive these complex problems. Now the time has gone, it's gone wherein you can just do a 3 bid and buy and and help the business to achieve their objectives. Yes, that's important. But now the problems are much more complex, and this is where the procurement plays a focal role to bring these different functions and work on those objectives and deliver on that. These are the three areas. Now I would say the two enablers. The first one is technology. We had an earlier panel discussion. Many of you would have heard about leveraging the technology, leveraging the data analytics, invest there. You can't continue working on a manual way to achieve the business goals. The second area is invest in your people. People will understand, if you invest in the people, or you bring the better capable people, they will understand the business problems. They will understand the complexity of the problems. And in procurement, if you see, the people are one of the biggest asset. Procurement is not about having the large, say, the capital assets. It's about the people, technologies. So this is what I call, Arun, the ways by which procurement can become much more closer and aligned to the business strategies.
Great, thank you. I think the thought is aligned. Right from the enablement perspective, enabling the cross collaboration. I see many companies are investing a lot on technology, but the second point which you highlighted, I think the audience will also link to that. Enabling people, making them, investing in them, making them capable to deliver more value is something that organizations should also look at, not just enabling technology, reducing the headcounts. That's something I think, that's my personal opinion. People may differ with that, but that's one thing organizations should look into. You highlighted one point on the cross-functional collaboration, especially when you mentioned the KPI should be more aligned to the business strategy. Now to have the KPI aligned, you need to focus on cross-collaboration, which you highlighted in your third points. I completely agree and echo with that thought. And actually my next question to our procurement head from Blusmart, Mr. Anil, is how important is cross-collaboration, cross-functional collaboration between procurement and other departments, R&D, operations, finance, IT, considering a dynamic business scenario wherein the demand from market is ever changing. The forces of globalization, be it through war, Indo-Pak tension, sanctions, tariff, all of a sudden Trump will wake up in the morning and he would say that he wants to impose 150% of tariff, right? So things are changing. So how do you manage this collaboration and how important is it for your function?
Thanks, Arun. Thanks. So as my colleague Pran said, कि पहले तो what procurement was there earlier, it's a cost saving objective only. So cost reduction करना है और कुछ करना ही नहीं है यहाँ पर. Procurement was like that. So nowadays procurement is a strategic partner for all the departments. So under procurement now collaboration is a one part where it's a strategical enabler for procurement department. When you are doing like Shivendra is saying that aligning a KPI with other departments is very necessary when you want to achieve some strategic role in that. So अगर कुछ करना है तो मतलब when you are discussing with the R&D, when you are discussing IT, marketing, operations or a finance, so अगर आपकी alignment उससे सही नहीं हो रही है, मतलब if in manufacturing sector नया product develop करना है and R&D is separately working on any product, it may take time, it may cost something else, but if they involve procurement in their development side, we procurement as a involve some partners in that, it will help to reduce the timeline, it will help to understand the cost in initial phases also. Similar way in operation, marketing or IT, when you are doing some projects, then it may help you to go for a delivery efficiencies and then timelines, cost reduction again. Similar way with finance. If you are doing some projects and discussing the initial phases with the finances, cost budget allocations, payment term negotiation with partners will help you out. So how you do this? मतलब this is the main function. मेरा collaboration मेरे लिए हमेशा major aspect रहा है मेरी life में procurement में. So how we help? So how I do this? I regularly visit the departments, functional heads, whether offline, online, understand their requirements, how they are doing, what projects in futures they are planning, how budget they are looking. तो एक बार जब हम when we discuss with them how to plan that, we can easily navigate our processes, we can align procurement team as well कि कैसे काम करना है कैसे नहीं करना है. So it will definitely help the so collaboration definitely help in the efficiencies, delivery timeline, cost alignments like that.
Thank you, Mr. Anil. So considering collaboration is a key aspect, I would like to bring in one more perspective from our head strategic sourcing from Ukaya, Mr. Sardeep. Considering you are in an industry wherein the technology is changing, right? For solar manufacturing or for that matter EV, everybody is now focused on the EV part of the world, right? How important is it for your organization and yourself as procurement head to collaborate with the whole moving parts, all the gears? How do you do that?
Thank you for your question, and I think strategic perspective has been already communicated by my co-partners Shivendra and from Blusmart. So to further add to that perspective, I would like to give small examples, where collaboration matters, because as strategic sourcing function or as a purchasing function, you are touching almost all the functions, whether it is R&D, finance, sales, logistics, marketing, finance, even HR, admin, IT, each and every function, you have to take or give, and there the collaboration becomes very important. So just to give you small examples, like from the R&D perspective, normally when they are developing any new product, especially related to EVs, a lot of developments are happening. For the batteries, we are developing a lot of technologies. So sometimes R&D, take their own decisions and do the testing or prototyping with certain suppliers. And later on, they reach out to procurement or purchasing function that, we have already selected the supplier, so kindly do that. But when we do the cost evaluation, we find that it is not working out. So we lose that much of time, and competition gets a go-ahead when you are losing that much amount of time. So that collaborative effort of involving the purchasing function right at the development stage helps in reducing the development timeline and getting to the market timely. Another important function where collaboration is important is we normally not give that much importance to the indirect purchase function, but indirect purchase function and normally all of you sitting here would be able to relate to it, that most of the functions, they have that mindset that it is our budget and whatever we are spending, or we need to take a decision with respect to selecting the supplier or negotiating with those suppliers. When I started dealing in indirect purchase, I had to convince them to tell them that when you are only looking at your budget and at your cost, that is what not bringing the exact value to the organization. The exact value you need to see from the total cost of ownership, right from evaluating the supplier, how did he perform, in what time did he complete the project, and working with them to showcase that yes, within that defined budget, they can do much more, and what value add purchasing function can bring on the table. So that helped in enhancing the area of influence with the different cross-functional partners. And another, I think example which everyone of us would relate to is, especially with respect to marketing developments, when we are developing packaging or artwork, there are a lot of iterations which go back and forth. So I was recently telling them that, why don't you use AI of develop a particular template, and whenever you are, doing a checking with respect to any instructions or any, packaging related things which gets printed on the packaging box, that matches it, because there are a lot of, changes which happen and which delays the whole project on account of that. So I think these are small examples which I would like to highlight further as compared to the strategic perspective given by my colleagues, that these are the things which can help us in, enhancing the strategic value from the purchasing function to the entire organization. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Saudi. And you touched on the value aspect of it. We started the session with how the things have changed, the strategy piece of it, how the KPIs are being linked or should be linked across the cross-functional, why the cross-functional collaboration is important, and how are we achieving it, the examples of that. Now coming down to the value aspect of it. Without proving value, probably things will fall apart. Management would also like to see the value, and that is where I would request our AVP sourcing from JBM Group, Mr. Arvind Garg, to share the perspective on how do you measure procurement's contribution to strategic goals like revenue growth, sustainability, risk management, or creating value for the bottom line as well. So how do you measure that value and communicate that?
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Me being from JBM, a partner, joint venture of Maruti, and we are manufacturing the bus you might have seen in the Gurgaon and Delhi region, also in the Gujarat also. So I will be relating this example of the automotive industry. When we speak about the strategic goals, 4 things come into the mind. One is the revenue growth. Of course, the first of all is the revenue growth. Second is the sustainability and ESG, and third is the risk management. When we speak about the revenue growth, the role of the procurement is vital, no doubt about it. Everybody knows that now the cost saving is not the only key function of the procurement, and how we can contribute in the revenue growth. It is 3 components basically what I think. One is what JBM and Maruti has also done. First of all, faster to market the product through supplier-enabled innovations. When we come to supply-enabled innovations, it is through doing the innovative kind of the products to enhance the quality, like Maruti has done in the case of smart hybrid system, in the case of Ciaz and Ertiga, by putting up the component mainly ISG, which is integrated starter and generator, and dual battery system. So this is the best example of the innovative kind of this system, which is possible only partnering with the suppliers, and it has happened with the case of the JBM also, who has done the lot of innovation with their partners, supplier partners in the Europe as well for their buses. They have introduced a liquid cooling system module by using a European kind of the system, and they have also used the thermal system, which has become the eco-friendly for the eco-life buses of the JBM. So that is the best example for the supplier-enabled innovations. The second is, of course, is the high-quality product and high-quality material and components which enhance the product of the industry. So that is must, and that is how we can increase the revenue of the company. When we can come to the risk management, of course, this Maruti has done a lot of things. You must be knowing, everybody is aware of the chip shortage in the past of the post-pandemic, and Maruti was struggling a lot, production losses. And after that, Maruti has done a lot of things like multi-supplier base, getting away from the dependency on the one supplier, the chip. Similarly, JBM has done so much in the case of the multi-alternate system, alternate supplier base management. So that is how we can reduce the risk of the company. Of course, now the buzzword is the JIC, balancing JIT with JIC, just in case with the just in time. Both are required depending upon our requirement actually, and we have to mitigate the risk at all. We cannot survive without risk mitigation. Third, of course, the very common word now, the ESG and sustainability. We have been doing a lot of things in ESG. On the environmental part, we have been working with suppliers for the eco-friendly products and reducing the carbon emissions. We will be coming out a very good report on how we have reduced the carbon emissions, specifically in the supplier base. The supplier has to be aligned with the ESG standards. That is the purpose of the JBM as well as the Maruti. Maruti has been doing a lot of things with their tier 1 with us and tier 2 as well. That is the what I think I have worked with so many OEMs other than Maruti along with the JBM. And I have found that Maruti has done a lot of things, numerous things with their tier 1 and tier 2 developments. And that is why the Maruti has come on this way. Now with this market share of 39% of the Maruti, everybody knows how they have done. In the case of the ESG also, you must be knowing very soon that how the ESG is going to be the compulsory, the legal requirement of each and every industry to reduce the carbon emission and all. So in nutshell, if I think that procurement, how the procurement drives the 4 components, the outcome is one is of course, the supply continuity, which is very much important. Second is the business resilience, which is nothing but to withstand the ability of the organization to withstand the disruptions, to recover the disruptions if it is there. That is business resilience. And the third is the ESG, what I already spoken about, and the fourth one is the technology, cutting edge technology, what I have already spoken about. These 4 outcomes altogether can give you the strategic goals or specifically the revenue growth. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Arvind. That's a great perspective to bring all 4 aspects to the procurement strategic initiatives. Keeping the time in mind, I'll now open the floor to the audience. We can have 1 or probably 2 questions. If somebody has a question with our panelist, please feel free. Do we have a mic in the audience? Please go ahead.
Hello. First of all, a very good session. Thank you for the knowledge you have imparted. My question is to Mr. Sardeep Chauhan, VP Strategic Sourcing, Okaya Power Private Limited. So since you are heading, the sourcing area, so what are your key elements before you define like which vendor to go with? And how you define the strategy, the development area that you intend to build with that vendor. So what is your key element that you look forward to when you want to develop a vendor in your organization? And which all elements are the critical factors which decides whether to go with it or not go with it? Thank you.
Okay, so to answer your question, I would say that, earlier when we were looking out for empaneling any vendor, I would say 10 years back, mainly it was cost, quality, delivery and development, which used to be the factors on which you used to weigh your suppliers and give your ratings based on, the kind of scoping you used to do. But in the current times, as my panelists talked about ESG, sustainability, carbon footprint, impact, compliances, all these factors have become quite critical when you are onboarding the suppliers. So, these parameters have become a kind of audit in your supplier audits when you conduct while visiting them before empaneling them. All these factors have also started having good enough weightage to see that whether your suppliers are sustainable or not in terms of their environment policies, in terms of their safety policies, in terms of their carbon footprint, what they are generating. So I would say you have a weightage to all these parameters, and when you evaluate the supplier who is getting maximum marks on those audit parameters, you tend to, go along with that, because that is a cross-functional evaluation which happens on all these parameters. So that's how it is that currently I think most of the organizations are taking their decisions for empaneling the suppliers. I hope I have answered your question. Thank you.
Gentlemen.
Yeah. So first of all, thank you so much for this insightful panel discussion. This is Amit again from TCS. I have one question to Mr. Shivendra. We have talked about collaborations, right? And collaboration is very key. That is all we all agree. Now my question to you is that when we are talking about technology, from Cargill perspective, how do you see the future of collaboration when you work with agentic AI as your co-worker?
Okay, so your question is, when you look at vendors for the Gen AI, right?
No, my basically question is when you collaborate, right? Today it is human touch, right?
Yeah.
You go, you meet, okay, and you discuss it, you understand there. But the future is, it has been said, AI, Gen AI, now agentic AI in 2025. When agentic AI will be your co-worker, then in that scenario, how the collaboration model will work?
Okay, so this is a topic which is evolving. I think we everybody is talking about the AI and genetic AI, and I can say that we all are learning in this space. So I don't pretend that I have all the right answers about the future operating model, but I think this is the area wherein from discussion to the reality it is converting to, and people are trying the use cases which can be relevant for your own organization. So from Cargill perspective, if you think about bringing the genetic AI and the technology, and especially in the procurement space, what we are doing is trying some use cases. We are still understanding the market and the technology, but this is something which we are able to see specific use cases which is able to help us. So we don't have a complete space, but if you think about scanning the contracts, if you think about finding out which contracts are going to expire when, and creating the pipeline, all the work direction for the people, these are really the areas we are seeing really relevant from the procurement perspective. And not only talk about the technology, like, oh, we want to bring this technology, but actually how will it help procurement? And more important is to the business. So bring which is relevant to you. This is very much, I create an analogy like a smart manufacturing. Everybody talks about a smart manufacturing, but bring the smart manufacturing which is really useful for your workshop. Likewise in the procurement, bring which is really making you efficient and help you to achieve the business objective. So I don't have the detailed working operating model, but we have certain use cases that we are trying, and we are really finding that useful, and ability for us to scale up at a larger scale, looking at the size of the Cargill.
Oh, thank you, Shivan.
Thank you.
Can I come in? I just want to add,
Yes, please, go ahead.
trying to just summarize whatever the discussion we are having. So in terms of when we are talking about sustainable procurement and innovation and tech, what we are talking about, so normally in general, sustainability is getting associated either with the tech innovations or with the ESG part of it. But I believe, and probably I can leave that question to you also to deliberate, sustainable procurement or supply chain is that is anything to do with where you can make a design change to a system which can be a long lasting. So like for example, whatever the water bottle which is there at your desk is a plastic bottle. It is not good in terms of environment, but best in terms of value. So if you see any raw material which can hold water, I think plastic is the cheapest one. You can replace this water bottle, plastic bottle with the metal bottle. Glass bottle can be a good initiative, but glass bottle is difficult to handle. Again, it's not very environment friendly, though it is coming from the earth only. Not very environment friendly, because to make that silica to glass is a journey which probably take more of the carbon credit rather than the plastic. Third, it is not easy to handle. Again, metal bottle, copper and aluminum can be alternated, but again, it's not very friendly for the cost. So whatever sustainable thing which we are doing in terms of procurement and supply chain has to meet all this criteria of, as I said, the adding value in terms of cost, experience, time, and what we are exactly offering to the customer. Customer, you can offer glass bottle which can be considered a premium water bottle, but that's not what customer is looking for. Customer is looking for a water in most affordable packaging possible. So this is, I think, I want to left you the message, the sustainable procurement or supply chain, which probably I think ESG can be part of it, tech innovation can be part of it, and can be the AI and other things. Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you, everyone. We'll not take questions because we are over time. But I think our panelists are here. You can catch them during the lunch break and the tea breaks. Thank you, everyone. Let's give it up for our panelists. Thanks.
Thank you so much. I request the panel, please be with us on the dais. We would like to thank you with a small certificate of appreciation. And may I invite Mr. Vivek Bharti, Vice President, Product Management, iCertis. Sir, please can you join in to present the mementos, please?